All right, first of all, Jarrod, thanks so much for joining us here on Astro Premier League. It's really nice to meet you. Let's talk about your role in this side. I don't think you've missed a single minute of club football so far this season. You're clearly someone who's very important to the side. But how's that pressure different when things are going well, say, Conference League final, versus when things are bad? Is that pressure a little bit different on you, that reliance on you?
No, listen, I think for me, I never want to look at playing football as a pressurised situation. I enjoy the role that I'm in. I want to stay injury free. I want to play as many minutes as possible. And like I said, I enjoy the responsibility of being captain of the team for one, being a leader of the team. Even when things aren't going so well, it's down to us as players to turn that form around. I have to drive that every single day. So I think for me, it's just enjoying the responsibility, enjoying the role, and taking everything in my stride.
Because of the managerial changes that has been happening quite a bit of late, does that make your role even more important as a bit more of as an anchor to your teammates?
Yeah, almost like a middleman as well. When the managers come in and you got introduced to the players, etc., etc. But I think for me, what I try and do is just help the manager every single day, help the players if there's anything that needs doing. And I think as a role as captain, you have to be there for your teammates every single day for anything that anyone needs, and whether that be speaking to the manager one-to-one, whether that be speaking as a group. I think these are all the things that come with being captain of a football club.
How do you see yourself as a captain, and what type of captain are you? If I were to speak to your teammates, how would they describe you as a captain?
Well, I don't know, hopefully in a good way. But no, I think someone that, obviously gets on well with everyone, someone that's got a lot of respect for everyone. And I think someone that, people can look at as, a role model, and someone that probably does all the right things that you'd want to do. I'm never one to, talk of myself. I'm just thinking of what I would say if it was, I was asking questions about myself. But I think that would be the one for me. I think I lead by example in terms of applying myself every single day.
And creating that brotherhood amongst
Creating that brotherhood, creating that spirit, that togetherness, and pulling everyone up when things aren't going so well. And I think for me, as we spoke about at the start, I enjoy that responsibility. I enjoy that role of what I've got.
Well, things are looking up at the moment, unbeaten in 3, and that big win over Newcastle United as well. Under Nuno Santo, what are some of the tweaks that he's made recently to really change your form around?
I think we've been a lot tougher, a lot more physical, defending really, really well. Even, in the games we've conceded goals, but like we just spoke about, that spirit, I think that spirit of, when we're losing a game, it's not kind of, you don't give up on the pitch. We don't go under, you keep fighting. And, in the Newcastle game, the Burnley game, we were behind in both of those games. And, we got 6 points from them. So I think that says a lot about the group to be, in a losing situation, turning it into a winning situation. So that's one thing that he's really, tried to stamp down on. And, ultimately, I think without the ball, goals were going in against us. So I think first and foremost, I think it was to try and stop that and try and make us harder to play against, harder to beat. And caring more about conceding goals, because we have real quality in this side, but if you can't keep the ball at the back of your net, it's hard to utilise that quality, because you always need to score 2-3 goals a game. So I think one thing we had to work on was without the ball, and I think we've done that well, and there's a lot more to improve as well.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, you were quite vocal about your genuine concerns about where the club is going. Is that mood different now? Is it lifted, or is it a case of, okay, let's not be complacent now that we've got a bit of form?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I think the last 3 weeks, I think when I spoke about the situation was after the Leeds game, I believe. And I thought it was right at the time, to give a reaction to everyone. I'm not going to say now after 7 points that we're totally out of the blue, but we're still in a situation. But things are looking a lot brighter, I think, with the performances and the results that we've had. We still need to match those levels that we've created the last few weeks. The Newcastle game, the Burnley game, that is a standard for us to keep hitting every single week. And, if we do that week in, week out, we'll soon find ourselves at the situation that we're in. But still, the reality is we're, I think, 1 point above the relegation zone. So, you can never say that we're out of the situation, because we're not. We're still in it. But what we can do is look forward to the next few weeks now and keep trying to turn this season. There's still a long time to go in the season. There's still, you win a few games in a row, you know, the tables soon start to look a lot different. So I think that's all we can do in the next few weeks.
Well, it's a big season for you because of England, because of the World Cup next year. When you are in this relegation dogfight, do you feel like you provide something different to the England camp? Because it takes a different kind of strength, doesn't it, to be battling where you are battling at the moment?
What for England? Sorry.
And provide something different to that side, to the England side,
Uh,
because mentally or strength-wise, fighting in a relegation battle, it takes a different kind of strength.
Yeah, no, and I think playing for your country comes from what you do at club level. And, you know, I think the situation that we've been in the last couple of years, we haven't been, you know, near the top of the table, you know, and I've still been getting into the England team. So I think for me, it's when I get the opportunity for England, it's trying to show what I do at club level week in, week out. And when I play at club level, it's, you know, trying to do what I do week in, week out. And hopefully that gets me the rewards of playing for England. Obviously, it's difficult when you're in a relegation fight, but, you know, I think for me, it's, no, I'm never going to jump ship because we're in a relegation fight. You know, I want to help the team, fight the situation that we're in and fight to get us out of the position that we're in. And hopefully at the end of the year, we've got a World Cup to go to.
Well, of course, in that camp, you're playing alongside the likes of, you know, players who've won titles, trophies, playing up in Champions League, for example. When you are in that camp, do you feel like you have to prove yourself a little bit there just to show that you belong with the same squad?
Not really. I think, you know, you're there on merit. You're not there to, you know, make up the numbers. You're there because, you know, you do well at a club level week in, week out. And, you know, when you get the opportunity for England, you have to show that you deserve to be there. So I think for me, you have a point to prove and, you know, you deserve to be in the squad. I think everyone's got that mindset of, you know, we all want to be here and we want to be here for the right reason. So I think when everyone gets the honour of playing for their country, everyone takes it with both hands, and I'm, you know, no different. Of course, different players in my positions are, you know, fighting for different things in terms of league titles and playing Champions League and stuff. But I think for me, what I do is my work, and, you know, so far it's working for me. So I think I've just got to continue with what I'm doing, and if I do get the opportunity again for England, it's continue to show that quality.
Well, Declan Rice doing really well at Arsenal at the moment. I think West Ham always has a special place in his heart, doesn't he? What's it like reuniting with him at England camp?
Yeah, no, me and Dec obviously don't get to see each other like we did when he was here, but when we do see each other on England camp, we're just with each other 24/7. You know, we miss each other, of course. We got on really well here, really close, and, you know, obviously a sad day when he left, but, you know, he's gone on to Arsenal and taken his game to another level. And, you know, there's probably even more levels for him to go to as well. I think he's really that good. And, you know, not just a teammate, a real good friend as well. So to see him have all the success he's having is really good. And then when we go to England together, like I said, we're basically joined at the hip, you know, down to breakfast together, coffees together, playing PlayStation together. So yeah, it's good to see him when you do see him on camp.
Oh, that's really nice to hear. Let's talk about your journey a little bit. The unconventional started with non-league football. What are some of the earliest memories that you have playing non-league football that still sticks with you today, like that still motivates you today when you are playing at the highest level?
Yeah, my journey is a little bit different. I think everyone has the same dream when they're young, is to play football. Obviously, people have different paths, different routes to get to where we all are now. But memories of non-league was just, I was 16, 17, playing men's football, being in a changing room. You know, with men that have had lots of appearances throughout the Football League. So I think being part of that made me learn a lot.
Did it force you to grow up quicker as well?
Yeah, I think because you're playing for something. You're playing for 3 points. You're playing, you know, you're in relegation fights, or, you know, you're going for titles, you're going for promotion. So at that age, you know, usually a lot of players are playing in academy football, and, you know, of course you want to win, but, you know, there's not as much at stake, I don't think. I think when the position that I was in was certainly a proper league, and, you know, there was, like I said, points to fight for, promotions, relegations, everything that comes with, you know, competitive football. So I think to have that at such a young age was really, really good for me.
Do you ever go back and watch any of the non-league football these days?
Well, yeah, the team that I played for, I still watch them when I can, when the games are on. Sometimes they pick and choose when they put the games on the telly. But yeah, I watch them as much as possible. When I do go home, if I can get to a game, I'll go, but I always keep an eye on their fixtures and results.
Well, you are in the peak of your career at the moment. Before you retire, look, it's going to be a long way from now, but before you retire, what's the one goal, one club goal and one international goal that you like to achieve?
I'd like to win the FA Cup at club level. International level, I think going to a World Cup would be incredible. Obviously winning it would be even better, but I think going would be, yeah, a really, really big achievement. I went to the Euros. Obviously, I think the World Cup is another level again. So, yeah, I'd say winning the FA Cup at club and going to the World Cup at international.
All right, brilliant.